Welcome, beautiful ladies. Today it's a solo episode. I'm your host, Mary Miranda, and today's episode is for all those amazing women out there who are flying solo and are choosing to be single, or something happened that you are single now during the holiday season. Being single during the festive time of the year can bring its own set of challenges and can bring a lot of emotions, a lot of feeling a certain way. But I am here to celebrate the joys of singlehood and offer some tips of navigating the holiday season with self love, grace, and empowerment. And I really hope that you enjoy this episode. The first thing I want to say is that I haven't been with someone during the holiday season in probably over 12 years. And before that, I never had. So it only has really happened one time or two times. Um, and it's been quite the experience because every single year I always long to have someone with me. I always wanted to experience the holidays with someone, and it never really happened. And the person that I did share those experiences, I wish I hadn't, because it was my toxic abusive relationship. And now those memories are there, and I wish I hadn't experienced those memories with that person, because now it's something that it's going to be with me for the rest of my life. And that person didn't deserve me and didn't deserve for me to create those memories with him in his hometown in Mexico. But my experience of not having someone with the holidays has varied. There's a lot of years that I was very sad. I was very depressed, not wanting to hang out with anyone. I was in my pity party. I was in my victimhood, kind of like, mad, why am I not meeting anyone? And it just sucked the energy out of me. And it just made me feel so low and so bad that I carried that energy toward the end of the year and starting the new year. And I just didn't like that. And I had to rewire my brain and work on my beliefs and work on so many things for me to finally be at a place that I enjoy the holidays on my own, single. I go to family events, and I'm okay being single and not. I don't care about the shame. I don't care about what people think about me. And it's taken a very long journey for me to get to that place that I'm like, I would rather be single and in a relationship with myself and enjoy the holidays and enjoy events, birthday parties of my nieces and nephews on my own, than to create experiences with someone that doesn't deserve me. And I would be so miserable if I was still with any of my exes, because they were not the ones for me and they didn't deserve me. They were not worthy of me. And there's a reason why things didn't work out with anyone. And when I was married, I separated before the holidays. And so I never got to create those memories with my ex-husband or anything like that, which now I'm grateful for, because I don't have those memories and I don't associate those holidays with anyone except that person that I dated like over 13 years ago. But I am so happy and I'm so glad that I removed myself from those places. And if someone didn't choose you, if someone didn't choose to stay with you, then they don't deserve to have room, mental room, emotional room in you. And this is why healing is so crucial. This is why addressing why are you holding on to that person or those memories and things like that, and kind of release and let go all of that. So people also don't get to come back in and out as they please from your life. If they don't choose to be with you, then they don't deserve room in your life. And today, the first things, let's just embrace the beauty of being single during the holidays. Let's embrace your solo status, now that I gave you a little bit of a background of my story. And I do have also like some things that happen. Like obviously I haven't been on dating apps in over a year, but the last time, it was like 2 years ago, when I did meet someone for the holidays. And I didn't realize that this person I thought we were heading in a right direction, and he kind of pulled away before the holidays, and I didn't understand why. It was kind of, he was emotionally unavailable, avoidant, obviously, because those are the men that I used to attract. He wouldn't communicate well. He was not in his he didn't know how to communicate his emotions or anything. It was just like the moment one day he told me he missed me, and it took forever for him to bring himself to do it. He said it in different ways, and I'm like, what does that mean, that you miss me? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, why don't you just say that? And he just didn't feel comfortable with that. But anyway, I ended things. Obviously, as soon as he pulled away, I just removed myself from that situation, and that was like a week before the holidays. And I still had him on social media, and he posted that he was, I guess, like with a group of friends, and each friend had, it was like a couples thing, and he was with the girl on his lap. And I was like, oh, now it makes sense why you pulled away. And I guess they probably briefly dated, and then that ended. But and it's so funny though, because the other day I received a text from him, and I don't have his number saved anymore. I just deleted his number, and he was so hurt that I didn't have his number saved. But it's like, if you don't choose to be in my life, then you don't have room in energy in my life, and you don't get to come in and out. So I blocked him after that, because I'm like, no, if you didn't choose to be with me and date me, that's fine. We were not compatible. Now I know we were not compatible whatsoever, but you don't get to come in and out, text me in and out to see what's going on, especially around the holidays. No, 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 because this is when exes tend to come back around the holidays, or men that ghosted you, kind of like wanting the coughing season. No, we are not here for that. So let's embrace our solo status. It is an opportunity for self-discovery, for self-care, and a chance to focus on your own happiness, on your goals, and starting the new year strong. And like I said before, with me, I was so in my pity party and depressed, angry, all sorts of emotions, that I was not taking the time to focus on my goals and to start the new year strong. So let's make that a priority this time, and take this time to reflect on your accomplishments and set intentions for the upcoming year. This is going to be great to release and let go toward the end of the year, so you can manifest and start the year so strong and in the best energy possible, and with a mindset of abundance, perseverance, and looking forward to an amazing next year. And being single doesn't mean that you are alone. It means that you have the freedom to create your own holidays, traditions, and experiences. It is far better to be single and focus on you and in a relationship with you, than to create memories with someone who is just temporary. And I do have so many things that I want to talk to you about, but let's address something about embracing this solo journey, embracing this single era, this solo era that you are going through. But let's talk about our belief systems. What beliefs come up when you think about being single? Because there's a lot of women who struggle with the status of being single. Another year being single at the end of the year for the holidays. I'm going to go to a party, and then I'm going to get asked all these uncomfortable questions, which I'm going to be talking about how to address those later on in the episode. So stay tuned for that. But what beliefs come up when you think about being single? What stories are you telling yourself about being single? What meaning are you giving to being single? And what emotions do you feel in your body, and where in your body when you think about being single? Because that's very important, especially if you're trying to shift those emotions out of your body and release them. And if you feel something strongly come up, you can start doing EFT, emotional freedom technique. It's my number one, my most favorite tool to release trapped emotions and release that energy, and kind of like don't feel stuck in those emotions, especially if you're having a lot of like anxiety, feeling desperate, feeling frustrated. I use EFT because I do struggle with anxiety every single day, and sometimes it's really bad. Some days I don't have it at all, but the days that I do, there's a lot of factors that go into why that even happens. But EFT has saved me every single day. There's days that I use it multiple times a day, because I could get triggered very easily. I do have an environment where I'm very triggered a lot, and it's just it just keeps me sane. It just like grounds me right back. It can take less than 5 minutes for you to shift those emotions, especially if you have a lot of anxiety that you're waiting for a text, or a lot of anxiety that you don't have someone, or a lot of anxiety around any situation. EFT is like such a powerful tool for that. And the next question that I want to ask you is, what new meaning do you desire to give to being single, and something that will feel very empowering and makes you see it as a gift and not as a curse, not as something to fix and not as a problem, because that's going to really help you shift the mindset around it. Now, let's talk about something that it's kind of like crafting your own traditions. And this is something that I started doing in my life. And I started realizing that I wanted to create experiences with myself, because I'm in a relationship with myself. I'm choosing to be single, and crafting my own traditions just made me realize that I get to decide how I want my holidays to feel. I get to decide if I want to go to a family event or not, or I can just stay and do my own thing, because now I get to do that for me because I'm single and I need to create those experiences with me so I can one day look back and be so happy and proud of myself. Speaking of traditions, so why not create some new ones for yourself? Whether it's a solo movie marathon, a cozy night at home, or reading your favorite book, or taking yourself out on a date to your favorite restaurant for the holidays. And I know it can feel a little intimidating because maybe there's going to be groups of people there. But what an empowering way is if you go dining alone on your own and you're so like unapologetic and bold about it. Like, I feel like that is so amazing. I'm really thinking about doing that this year. And our holidays tradition don't have to fit the mold or go with what society has conditioned us to believe. They can be as unique as we are, and we can explore different ideas. But why do your traditions need to be with family or loved ones? Why not craft some for your own, especially if you have like strange relationships with family members and you don't talk to them? What can you do on your own to celebrate the holidays and find ways to still be happy and feel abundant and feel excited about whatever it is that you are going through? If it's Christmas, if it's Christmas Eve, if it's the New Year, if it's Thanksgiving, any holiday, this can be used for any type of event too. So you are, and this is another thing that I heard. I was listening to a podcast by Chani Silver, and she said something that resonated with me so much. And she said, "You are your own family." And I love that concept. You are your own family. You deserve to create your own experiences, your own memories as a single woman. And if you don't want to go to gatherings with family, especially if you don't get along with family members, like I said, estranged relationships, then you don't have to. You get to choose how you want to spend the holidays. And if being around family or loved ones is not your thing, obviously, just choose yourself. But if also like you have really good relationships with your family members or your extended family or your immediate family, you can definitely obviously choose to go there. I'm just giving you, because there's a lot of single women who don't fit in or who don't talk to some siblings or parents. And for me, it's very empowering to also honor those women who are literally single and alone and don't have anyone around them for them to feel empowered to create their own traditions and decide that you are your own family. And I love that Shani said that, because I was like, oh my God, that is so empowering, because I never saw it as that. We always see family as like more than one person. Like usually like it's a wife and a husband and a son or a daughter. And it's like, no, but why can't I be my own family? It's me, myself, and I. Why can't I be my own family on my own? And I feel like that gave me a lot of peace, because that's how I feel in my life. Like I don't feel close to a lot of people. And for me, it's like, I am my own family. I am like, this is the best relationship I've been in with myself. And I'm really happy. There's things around me that trigger me on a daily basis, but I shift them and I move forward because I know the type of person that I am. And I don't care what everybody else thinks about me. I don't care the perception that people think about me. I know who I am because I've done the work to get to know myself. And it's okay to create your own traditions, but at the same time, like I said, if you do have loved ones that you're very close with, by all means, like create the memories that you have always created with them, like going to dinner to their house and all of that. Like that's fantastic. I haven't had a Christmas with my family and like with my mom and my dad here in a few years. And it's just not the same anymore because they retired and they moved to Mexico. And my mom's here right now, but she's going to leave very soon. And I'm left alone again. And I have my older brother and I usually hang out with him and his family. But this year, I think I'm just going to do my own thing. I did my own thing like 2 years ago, and that was fantastic. I loved it. I just wanted to do something on my own and I ordered pizza and I watched a movie and then I went to bed early. I like going to bed early. I like waking up early. I like getting my sleep. I don't like negotiating my sleep and my morning and my night routine for anyone. I like my self-care. I like things done the way that I do because I do have things to do the next day. I also have a full-time job. I also have my business and I also have the podcast. So I have a lot of things on my plate. And I'm like, no, I wanna go to sleep early. So like I want to create my own memories. And I have done that. And it just feels so empowering to wake up and know that I chose my thing. I'm not I'm not mad that I didn't get enough sleep. I'm awake the next day super early to go to the gym. I like doing that every day. I like working on me. And I'm like really happy with my decisions sometimes. But at the same time, it's like, okay, like, but like your nieces and your nephews, like I want to hang out with them, but I'm like, I can go and hang out with them on a different day. Like it does not have to be the holiday. I get to create my own experiences and my own traditions on my own. The next thing I want to talk to you about is navigating social events. If you choose to attend those family events, especially when the questions come up, the holiday season with family and those social events can be very taxing for so many people. And it's completely normal to feel anxious, to feel like you don't want to go there. And more so as a single person because of all the questions and the shame and the stigma that comes around and feeling bad about yourself, and others probably making comments that make you feel even worse. But we're trying to embrace singlehood in the most empowering way. And I do have a podcast coming up about embracing being single, all about embracing being single in the most empowering and confident way. I have my notes here because I really wanted to address and not be all over the place. Navigating the feelings around going to family events. What feelings come up with going to social events single? What is it or what thoughts are coming up with the idea of having to go to that family gathering where there's going to be that person or that uncle, that aunt or that cousin or whomever that it's going to make a comment or is going to say ask a question that you don't want to be asked. How to deal with that? What questions are you already rolling your eyes at and have anxiety about being asked? This is so important that you start already shifting those emotions and the thoughts around it because it's going to help you when the holidays do come up. And is it the question, why are you single? What happened with the guy that you were dating? What questions specifically are you dreading being asked? And what comments do you struggle with also being asked or being told or people making remarks? And like I said, EFT, if you can already, because I know when people start asking themselves these questions, emotions come up. So you can literally use EFT starting from now so you can start shifting that. So when the time comes, you don't feel that anxiety as intense and you don't feel those emotions as intense because you have already done the inner work and the healing around those shifting and releasing those emotions. The first question that I wrote down that can potentially bring a lot of triggers and anxiety is, are you still seeing that guy? And you can always answer with, no, that ended a while ago. You can simply just say no. Or you can also say, no, we were not aligned and I chose myself. You can also say we were incompatible and I walked away. Or you can also say, no, I'm very happy. Like literally, and then you can also, when people start asking you these questions, you can literally answer very briefly, very vaguely, and change the subject immediately or turn the question back to them. And there's the other question. So are you dating? And are you seeing anyone special in your life? And you can literally just say no, period. But how are you? Or how is your job? Or how is this? And reflect the question back to them, ask the question back to them, especially if it's a person who is single, or you can ask something and completely change the subject. That is so valid. Or you can also say, I don't want to talk about my dating life right now at this moment, or I don't feel comfortable discussing that matter right now, or I don't feel comfortable discussing my dating life right now. Or you can also say, I'm choosing to be single and focus on other areas of my life. Or you can say, I'm choosing to be single and I'm so happy. I'm enjoying being single. You can say so many things. You can also say, no, I know what I desired. I won't settle. And in the meantime, I'm just focusing on my life. I'm focusing on my goals, on myself. I'm focusing on starting this side hustle. I'm focusing on reading this book. I'm focusing on whatever it is that you're focusing on. And you can also say the right person will come one day. I'm not in a rush. I'm enjoying my life. You can be as direct as you want, as vague as you want, or you can simply avoid talking to that person altogether. And you can also choose not to go to the gathering if it's bringing up a lot of anxiety. I've chosen to say I don't feel comfortable talking about that, or I don't want to talk about that right now. I've also said I'm single and very happy. Even if sometimes it's not true, and it doesn't mean that you are lying. It just means that you don't want the continuous of questions to be asked. So you can actually just say, nope, I'm very happy on my own, period. Simple as that. And maybe there's been questions, there's been questions, or maybe those family members that say maybe you need therapy or healing. Have you thought about that you may be the problem? Maybe you need to shift your priorities. Like those can the entitlement of these people asking those questions, because it has happened. You can always say, I didn't ask for advice and I don't like unsolicited advice. You can also say, I am very happy with my priorities where they are. Or you can say any other question, and you don't really have to tolerate those conversations. You can simply just walk away. And it's not being rude, but it's saving yourself the grace. It's saving yourself like from getting farther like hammered by all these questions. But you choose what is best for you depending on the person who is asking. By all means, you can also say, you know what, I don't want to talk about that right now, period, end of story. And just focus on yourself. And the person, when people say that, oh, just focus on you, the person will come when you least expect it, that's something that can be triggering for so many women, because you're like, I know he's gonna come when I least expect it. Like I am, it's I think like a lot of women who are choosing to be single, there's a lot of women that do desire deep down to still have a relationship. It would be fantastic to have a relationship, and it hasn't happened for one reason or the other. But when people say those things like to encourage us and to sort of like give us hope, it's like we don't need that a lot of times, because it's what we hear all the time. So it can be very frustrating and very annoying when people start making those remarks. And you can also share with them the positives of being single, being independent, having your own freedom, focusing on what matters, especially I am obviously single. I'm also child free. So when a lot of the comments come in, they come in from people who are married, who I know they're not happy. They come in from women and men too, who have children, and I know they're not happy. They're frustrated. So a lot of times I reflect the question back to them, no, but how is being a father, or how is being a mother, or how is being married? How do you like it? When you already know that the person is not happy. And I feel like it's so crucial to know that we don't have to take advice from people who we know we don't want a relationship like, or a marriage like, or who we know they're miserable. We don't have to take advice. If they are not reflecting the lifestyle and the life that we desire, we don't have to even listen to those people. Share with them the positives of being single, the joys of being on your own, the liberty, the freedom, the independence. You can do as you please. You can get as many hours of sleep as you can. You can choose to go whenever you want. You can do whatever it is that you want with your life, because a lot of times that's just gonna keep their mouths quiet and shut, and they don't have to say anything after that. You can also say, stop trying to make me feel bad for wanting something different than you, especially if those comments are coming from people who want to tell you and pressure you that you need to get married, that you're getting old, that you're this and you're that. You can simply say that, or you can say, I hear what you are saying, but I am not settling. I am enjoying being single, especially those people who want to convince you to go back on dating apps and find someone when you are probably not in that headspace. And I think people just need to mind their own business and stop asking this invasive questions to single women, because we hear it all the time. What happened to that person? Are you dating? Are you seeing anyone special? And it came to the point that in my family, people don't really ask me anymore because they know I'm single right now and they know I'm enjoying my life and I'm busy on my focusing on my podcast, on my business, and other things that I have on my plate. And people don't even ask me. Like, I met up with a friend the other day after not seeing her for over probably, oh my gosh, over 8 months. And she didn't even ask me if I was seeing anyone, nothing, because she sees my social media. She knows what I'm about. And we talked about our goals. We talked about manifestation. And it was like such a rich and just joyful conversation with her. And it was like the first time in a very long time that I didn't get asked if I was seeing anyone, what's happening with my dating life. And it just felt so good to know that people know that there's other things outside of being dating and in a relationship, and men to single women, and especially to my life. There's more to us than just being in a relationship. There's more to us than just being dating or thinking about men or marriage or whatever. There is more to our lives than that. That is just a small portion that maybe we want in our lives. But if we are not in that season, then it's perfectly okay. um, you can also, like I said, choose to not attend those gatherings and listen to. I also have another podcast about setting boundaries around the holidays. If you want to listen to that, it's a great podcast too. Let's talk about self care and self love, and let's focus on how important those two are. And I will share some self care tips to help you feel loved, like self loved, taken care of, and prioritize yourself. We don't want to self abandon and not take care of ourselves during this time because of whatever it is that we are feeling. Maybe we're feeling frustrated, we're feeling sad, we're feeling depressed, longing to have someone, which is completely valid that you have those experiences. But like I said, you can choose to shift those emotions by journaling, by using EFT and healing modalities. And if you need help navigating this end of the year and just whatever it is that you are going through, I do have my coaching available. So send me an email. Everything is in the show notes. So, like I said, we don't want to self abandon. We want to prioritize ourselves. We want to make sure we're taking care of ourselves at this time. And this is the time to show up for ourselves the way we desire someone showed up for you. And I guess one question that you can ask yourself is, what do I wish someone would have done for me? Or how do I wish someone would have showed up for me around the holidays, especially a partner and things like that? And start doing those things for yourself. Remember, the holidays are a time to celebrate, feel grateful, and end the year on a good energy. And if it's been a hard year, it's okay. Whatever you experience is completely valid. But we are trying to embrace the end of the year being single from this empowering way, and knowing that there's still a lot of things that probably happened to you this year that you have to be grateful for. And one of the things that you probably didn't end up with a shitty person, you probably ended a situationship, you probably walked away from a relationship, or maybe you chose celibacy and choosing to be single like me for the past, God, it's going to be 9 months. And it is so empowering to know that you made that choice, and whatever happened, you chose yourself and you chose to prioritize taking care of you and honoring you, and get very clear on what it is that you desired. And maybe one day that person is going to come in, but if it doesn't, like, you are completely fine on your own at this moment. And you can also ask another question. What does your inner child need right now? Because that's probably the number one thing that's going to help you shift any feelings of shame, any deception, any frustration, or any of those heavy emotions. A lot of times it's our inner child longing for something. Is there something you wish you would have received or done as a child during the holidays? Or this can also be applicable for any time, like you can do this inner work that you can now create during the holidays, around soothing and meeting your inner child's unmet needs. Is there something you want to go and do and play? For example, me, I have never gone sledding. Every single winter, I live in the Midwest, so it's like there's a lot of snow. And I say, I'm going to go sledding. I'm going to go sledding. And I have missed so many opportunities, so many years not doing that for various reasons. One, because I was cold, because I was not in the mood, because it was just too much, too shitty outside. I didn't want to get my my jeans wet. I didn't have the proper attire, whatever it is. I always put up excuses, but it's always been in my bucket list because my inner child wants to go and do that. I never got to do that when I was little. I don't remember. And I lived in Mexico for most of my childhood. I came to the United States when I was 14. And even though I was still 14, almost 15, I didn't get to have that experience with my dad. Someone in my family did get to have that experience with my father, but not me. And I always kind of longed for that. And I'm like, okay, now it's time to fulfill that unmet need and that desire in playing in the snow for your inner child. Now I get to do that for myself. So I am thinking that that's going to happen this year, and I'm very excited for it because I have a huge to-do list of self-care things during the holidays, things that I always wanted to do. I've gone skiing before and something that I never did before. So I'm doing things that I've never done before to make me feel more confident and more empowered in my choice to be single. And I never gone skiing before, and I was like on the biggest slopes, or I don't know how to say it properly, but I've only done it once. And I was so good. Like I got it right away, and I was just so excited. So maybe I'm also gonna do that this winter. I don't know, but make a list of things that you desire to do, things that you can do. Maybe you need to go. There's another thing. Maybe you also need to go and look at the Christmas lights and drive around or go walk around. And they have something here in the Brookfield Zoo, like zoo lights or something like that. I've never gone because always the excuse that it's too cold outside. Literally, I can put on two coats and I'm probably going to be fine walking with my hot tea, and I'll probably be fine. But I always make up excuses. And this year it's like, I am not going to do that anymore. I have missed out on so many experiences for so many years that I don't have those experiences and those memories, and I desire that because I look back and now I regret it. So if you are on the same boat as me, start doing those things that you say you're going to do so you can look back and be so happy that you have those memories and those experiences. And I am also, we don't have a Christmas tree, but I don't really feel like I need one. Maybe that's going to be something, I think it's in the attic. I don't know. But maybe you get to set up your own Christmas tree and lights and then find something very Christmassy. I think for the longest time I was more like on the Grinch end. And even my niece and her mom, I used to live with them for so many years. They used to like call me the Grinch, and it was kind of like it became like this inside joke. So I kind of just like embraced it and made it part of my identity. But this year, it's like, do I want to buy a small Christmas tree and at least have a little bit of holiday spirit? Because it hasn't felt like that in years. And the only time it's because my brother has a Christmas tree because he has kids and I go to his house and it's there. But I'm like, why don't I do that for myself? So it's something I'm exploring. So maybe that's going to happen. One year I took my niece to see Santa, and I haven't had that memory since I was very little when we lived in the United States. And obviously, like I said, we went to Mexico. but I always had this picture, and it was like the three of us, my older siblings, and me at the time because we were so little, and my parents. And it was in the winter, and it was with Santa. And I had never recreated that memory or anything like that. But one day I took my niece to see Santa, and I was like, why don't I take a picture with Santa? And now it's this thing that I took a picture with Santa, and it was a very silly and goofy picture, and I'm so happy that I did it. But if you don't have those things in memory, that you never really know what they were about. But I had that memory from way back in the day, and I kind of always wanted it. I think it was more my inner child, and it was very healing for me. But think about ways that you can create memories and embrace this year, so you can look back next year and be like, I'm so glad I did that. I'm so glad I went sledding. I'm so glad I went skiing. I went snowboarding. I'm so glad I did that. I'm so glad I went to see the Christmas lights. I'm so glad that I created that memory with myself, and I took pictures, and now I can look back and be so proud of myself. Because one thing that I have done in the past is that I have been so immersed in healing that I don't take a lot of pictures, and I end the year with barely any pictures of me happy, of me dressed up, of me doing fun things. And then I don't have pictures to look back and remember the year. Ask yourself, what things can you do that will fulfill your inner child and also your adult self? And don't wait to have someone to do those things. Start creating them now, because you're going to look back and regret not making those memories. I'm speaking from experience because I have missed so many years and so much time not creating memories as a single woman, because I was too caught up in my own mess and too caught up in my emotions that I didn't enjoy myself, and I didn't enjoy the benefits of being single and how empowering it is, because I didn't see it that way until honestly this year, more than anything, that it's been the best choice I've ever made. You want to create those memories. Don't wait for someone to come along so you can create those memories. And any feeling that are coming up, any thoughts, any emotions, and show up for yourself and your inner child the way you wish somebody would have shown up for you. Maybe your mom, maybe your dad, maybe a significant other. You get to do that now for yourself, because you are your own family, and you get to decide how you want the holidays and the end of the year to be. Now, let's talk about reflections and feeling grateful, because that's very important. Like I said, there are probably so many things that you can be grateful for that happened this year. You left something, a relationship, you walked away, you set a boundary, you chose yourself, and there's so many things. So write down a list and reflect on what good things happened this year. What things happened to you this year that you can be grateful for? What's the best thing about being single? Like, focus on the positive things and the most amazing things about being single: your independence, your freedom. You get to do whatever you want, you get to live anywhere, you get to come and go as you please. You get to do so much, and that is so empowering to have that choice, because a lot of married people don't have that. A lot of single mothers don't have that. And obviously, I'm speaking to also women who are single and choosing to be child free like me. That's something that we cannot take for granted. And what also, you can do a list if you're struggling feeling worthy enough. You can write down a list that what makes you worthy and enough, because we don't get to attach our worth and value to having a significant other, and we also don't want to date someone just so we are not single, just for the status. We don't get to do that. So what makes you worthy and enough as you are, and what fills you up and completes you and makes you feel so good and fulfilled and whole, because you are whole and complete on your own. And how did the year go? This is where you can reflect what went well, what didn't go well, what can you do differently next year, to make it even better. What are you releasing and letting go and leaving behind this year? Write down a huge list, and you can also do a forgiveness list. I don't necessarily believe that we can forgive others. It's not a requirement to forgive others to move on. I feel it's more important to forgive ourselves for allowing so much, for going back, for not standing up for ourselves, and release all of that and the heavy emotions. And you can probably do a ritual to the end of the year and a manifestation list of what you are calling in the next year. And this has been probably one thing that I just wanted to talk about because I know it's so hard for so many women to know that they're single and the holidays are coming up and how they desired and wish they were in a partnership or in a marriage or in a relationship. But if it hasn't happened to you, it's okay. Let's try to look at it from the positive perspective and all the benefits of being single. And you never know what's going to happen next year. Everything can change in a year. Things can change drastically in a few months, even. And being hopeful and knowing that it gets to be better and you decide how you want your life to be and feel and what you want to create. And if you are struggling with feeling those emotions in navigating being single in the holidays and facing relatives and all of that, I do have coaching sessions available. You can send me an email. You can also fill out the application. Everything is in the show notes. But if you are spending the holidays solo, know that you're not alone and there's a community cheering you on. I'm part of that community. You're part of my community now in this podcast. And if you need support, reach out to me, but embrace this season of your life. Embrace what you are going through. Take advantage and create beautiful experiences and memories for you. So one day you can look back and be so proud of you and say, I am so glad I did all of that. I'm so glad I enjoy my single years because there's so many years that I missed out and I regret not enjoying them, not enjoying my life, not enjoying being single, and how lucky I am that I didn't end up in those toxic relationships and I got out of my marriage and so many other things. So embrace the season, embrace who you are, embrace being single, and think of the benefits of it because that's really going to help you create your own traditions, create your own memories, and just try to feel the joy. And like I said, EFT is the most powerful tool. And I hope you enjoy this podcast, and I'll see you on the next episode.